Today's session, we are going to understand the curriculum required for language learning. In one of the previous sessions, you have seen the framework of language learning, means what are the underlying components available for all the programming languages. If you learn it up, then you can able to play with the language. Those underlying components, we call it as framework. We didn't look at the detail of that. We'll definitely look at the detail in today's session too. But before going to the details of that, but what are the goals of the curriculum? This language learning curriculum, we want to keep it up. The first goal is we want to learn a language with more joy. We should not feel pain to really hammer our mind in a way to remember syntax, recall that, remember, recall. This is a horrible thing if you are learning a programming language. The way you have to do here is, why is this feature required? What is the intent of that? What made these guys to create this feature? If you learn the intent of it, you start feel the joy in this feature and ambition. Next time same problem comes, you can bring this intent, the feature actually. This is what we call the joyful learning here. So more you see the pain points, more you really understand the features now. Without pain point, keep on talking about the details in the notebooks and notebooks now. Nothing is going to work out. It's not joyful learning at all. Fundamental goal of our curriculum is joyful learning here. That's one of the first goals. Then syntax, who are going to help it up? If you don't remember syntax, how I'm going to learn it up is the most common question. So what kind of syntax you require? The method syntaxes, classes, your IDs are there, they can give you all you want it. On the fly you can able to build it up. If not, go to Google search. You have to use them smartly here. But the fundamental thing is problem, logic, expression. This language is the lowest level thing. But if you don't have a problems, then language doesn't show its own benefits now. That's why more you exposed to problems, more you really see the language beauty here. That's how you learn a language at childhood. So tell me which school you went it up. So by 3, 4, 5 years now, you start speaking beautiful things within your family. Which kind of curriculum you followed up? Nothing. It just came because when you really feel emotions now, thoughts now, you find an expression now, start using the mother tongue. After learning, after using for some time now, then you go to school to learn a more formal education of the language. Same thing in programming language. You don't have to finish up whole books and books of syntaxes before start using language. Learn within 2 to 3 weeks now, fundamental features now, start expressing it up, expressing expression that gives motivation to go to more advanced part of the language. Master requires definitely long time process. Maybe for throughout career, keep using language, you see more and more, dimensions of the language, no doubt. But to start coding, basic coding here, 2 to 3 weeks is a maximum. That is the timeline I'm giving up. Another one is, what kind of background is required to learn a language? I don't want any background. Either first timer or second timer, already language, doesn't matter. Curriculum means it has to work on anybody, anytime, so without any issues now here. Then the curriculum makes sensible here. That's why follow the curriculum, see the result. Why don't you get the same expected result here? If the curriculum is right, should give the correct result here. That's what 3 fundamental goals which I kept it for this curriculum here. What is exact curriculum here? So if you look at this, so the boxes which we have given it up in the framework, I just opened up the boxes a little more detailed way here. The first box is language overview. So why the hell this language was created? You're starting Scala programming language. No need to really fear and bother about now. So Scala is difficult, Scala is that. So who the guy, told that this is complex or what? Is their mindset. Because their learning is not correct, they may feel difficult. But you don't have to really take that opinion. If you have right mindset, any language speaking is super easy, just a mapping. You have the foundation, map it. Functional programming, mapping. Object programming, mapping. That's all you have it. There's nothing else in this language, programming language learning here. Just a hybrid thing here, where if you learn a language, you learn a whole software development here, is a completely nonsense. Language is just what they call an expression medium. Your logics, if you have it up, this expression medium helps you. If you don't have logics in your mind, what is the use of expression medium here? Only expression medium is there. No thought, no problem, no logic here. What the hell you do with the language? That's why come out of that myth in a way that language is ultimate thing in a software. Language is the lowest thing in a language is what I always say here. So the first thing is language overview. What are the pros and cons? So if I want to learn a Python, so what is strengths and weakness of the Python? What makes my Python forced to me learn a Python language? If that intent is clear, then you really start enjoying Python language here. So, and also how to set up environment. Don't use your notepads and all these, nonsense editors here where you have to really remember the syntaxes, where you have to present your syntaxes, use proper IDs. Production grade, what kind of environment you set up on your system. Start working realistic way. So that's what the first component you got to really do it up. The second component, we talk about type system. I've seen people here, when they start learning C language, they learn all the types in C language. When they switch to CBP, they start learning all types again. Java, they think that they have new types now, they start learning again. Scalar tomorrow, if you ask to bring it up, again you start learning all the types. How many types are there? Tell me in programming. So if you just understand one time here, you can play with any of these mappings now. Since you didn't understood them, which is a common thing across behind all of them, then everyone plays with your mind that they are creating a new kind of thing in every language. This is completely utter nonsense here. Then primitive and custom types. Some of them language gives you, some of them you want in your application to express it. Let's say banking application, customer type is there. It's not there in a language, they don't know is required or not. You got to create. Custom types, primitive types are all required in any language. Then type specification, sometimes you got to give it up, sometimes I don't have to give type. They have pros and cons of it. That's what you call static and dynamic typing. Some language take one choice for some benefit, some other language take other choice for a different benefit. If you know once now, you don't have to learn again and again. One time type system is all for your life. Then third part is modularity. Module is a most beautiful thing in a big projects, because it's a complex thing. If you keep all code in a one unit now, it becomes messed up. When issue comes up, we don't know where the issue happened up. If you want to really do some kind of additions now, you need to play with, you need to really go through the whole code. That's why people thought of some kind of easy way to organize a complete code base. That's what you call it as modularity. So what is the intent of the modularity? If you really understand them, then any language, they just give some kind of support. CPP guys says some kind of idea called namespace. Java guys says that we are using packages. Python says one more term. Scala says some other term. Just a matter of mapping, slightly may change it up, but essence is same. That's why modularity once, then map to any kind of language you want it up. Next is styles of programming here. Procedure style programming. What do you want in a procedure style? I need a control statements first of all. Loops, branching statements. Now any language is same thing. Tell me what else you have in Java which is not there in Python. Can't you write a looping kind of work in both languages or what? Why you really messed up all of them? For loop in Java, syntax writing, Python for loop writing, Scala for loop writing. How many for loops remember? You cannot. Just use Google, use IDE, start getting it up. On the fly use a computer language syntax. Your thought is looping. Your intent is going to be writing a looping. That you need to grab it up. That's what procedure style, first part. Second part of procedure style is procedure abstraction. So in reality, any kind of method which I want to use again multiple times, just abstract it. Start writing any language. Every language gives you how to write the procedures. Some guys call method, some guys call function, some guys call procedures, whatever. So, but essence is same shit. That's why procedure style, one time you learn it up, play with all these languages. Next is OO style, one of the very useful style of programming for a complex projects anyway, but very, very misunderstood style is object oriented. How many concepts will end up, how many times will end up. Starting from class object anyway, polymorphism, dynamic binding, inheritance, composition here. How much mess up I have seen people have done it up. So when asked in interview, tell me where did you use polymorphism? No clue. They never really have seen the intent of the polymorphism. What are these guys going to do now? In a project, if I give some work with polymorphism is required. They don't understand. So that means the whole effort these guys have spent it up, learning OO style, they didn't get it up. When they didn't get it up, they always feel inconfident. They become vulnerable and they get fear. That's what stress you are going to get it up. Once you understood that, it's a joy. If you don't understand it up, it is stress. That's the only difference you really see it up. The third style is function style. It's a very, very useful style again here in the modern programming, modern problems you are facing it up. With the function style really have its own impact. That if you don't really see it up, then how much syntaxes, how much concepts study it up, no use here. You got to experience it. If experience means you have to face straight away, this is a problem, let me face it. With all my mind focusing on it, let me see how I'm attacking the solution. This is what I mean by experience. Experience is facing the problem straight, giving a chance to directly face it up, start attacking it up. Since you stuck it up, I'm going to help you. This style, if you use it up, you really come out of this problem. This is what you mean by giving an experience. That's what you get in a company. You're exposed to a problem. Well, learning it should be the same. Why you have to learn theory here? Go to a company, get an experience here. What this is nonsense learning, you're really doing it up. We don't want this. Next one is data structures. In Python, they use some term called collections. In Java, they call collections. In CPP, they call some template library or some other library name. In other language, they call some other name. Another biggest pathetic mess is going to be, they think that is all different things now. So who the hell you really understood that? Data structures, collections, all these are different. These are all fundamental, groups of items now. So their fundamental constructs are there. They just mapped in with the different names in a language. Some guys are fighting now. Java have a hash set, Java have hash table. This is different than all the hash tables I landed up. So who this hell told that? Hash table, hash set, all new data structures now. Fundamental things, if you really grab it up, you understand how these languages are really supported up, the mappings to fundamental science. The language science, language explorations here are very, very few. These are all mapped up by language technology guys now. In a version to version, they keep changing it up. So that's what actually happens it up. The other one is libraries now. There are so many libraries in each language. We don't want to learn upfront all these libraries. Before the library, what are components? Totally 4 plus the 7. The 7 components, if you understand it up, then you can able to build libraries your own. You can grab the libraries on the fly from any requirement comes up. So next is debugging, performance tuning. When a problem comes up while developing a program, you got an error and you didn't find out that how I'm going to fix it. Is there any, some kind of systematic way I can able to fix it up? It's called debugging skill. When application is deployed, performance is not coming. Response time is very slow. What should I do? Should I change my data structure? Should I change my method or algorithm or what? We need to know the performance tuning aspects too in a language. For some interview purpose, some puzzles are there, interesting questions are available. Surely they are all interesting if you understand the features now. That is one of the very important aspect. And final aspect is going to be frameworks. This is one of the biggest thing you see. So starting from concurrent programming, parallelism, distributed, web application, enterprise app, what else, cloud app, then embedded application frameworks, how many frameworks, depends on a requirement here. So many, depends on the application requirement, so many frameworks are there in each language. You don't have to really learn all of them. When the project comes up, then you start picking up the right framework, start using it up. This is how your frameworks you are going to master it up. Again, each language have their own support of these frameworks now. Java have their own ecosystem of frameworks. Python have their ecosystem of frameworks. Even Go language have their own ecosystem of frameworks. Day after tomorrow, if Scala comes up with more frameworks, they also have their own ecosystem. So that's all depends on your requirement and so then you got to pick it up on the fly. But fundamentally, so these are the totally 4 plus 4, 8 plus 3, 11. 11 blocks, the 11 components are there underlying for any kind of language learning here. So if you learn them all once now here, you can able to, maybe first language while learning it up, it takes slightly more time. But after one language now, any language switching should be just a cakewalk. You learn a language with a love of language because you understood them, the intent of it, you start really feeling up joy in a language. That's why learn once, map to any technology. So any language technology here, switching a language cannot take more than a week of time. After first language you'll end up. First language little more time, maybe an extra week of time. But after that, it should be just a max 1 week of time here. But after learning a language, what do? That's not end of your life. That's the first part in a computer programming world. So after learning a language, then you take some bunch of problems, start attacking the problems, see how do you apply data structures, how do you apply algorithms now, start building a logical skill, logical thinking skill. Once you keep getting more and more logical skill, then your value getting definitely more and more, improved here, and your language becomes support to express your logics now. That the second step after language is going to be problem solving. Then final aspect is when a big project comes, now you solve small problems, you got confidence now. Now when you really get a big project, that's where you need to understand frameworks. If you are good at these fundamentals now, logic skill, learning a framework is super easy, then you can learn pick up the framework, add your own contribution, which pieces you have to modify. That is the next aspect. That's what you really mean, how you need to really build up mastery in a language. And finally, choice always favors now. No, all this mess is, I'm enjoying it already, let me keep in my mess here. Definitely you keep in your own mess here. No, I want to come out because I know that I was in a mess now. Now you want to take off, you just come out of your mess here. Choice is yours. I don't really ask anybody here to really follow up this curriculum. If you really understood the truth of it, if really convinced that, this is real, makes difference to your learning here, follow it. Otherwise, just ignore it, follow whatever mess you really have it up. So that's what choice is always yours. That's what you want to discuss as part of this session.